Hello, and welcome once again to the Dental Marketing Mastery Series. This podcast is brought to you by dentalwebcontent.com and New Patients Incorporated. I'm Howie Horrocks, the founder of New Patients Incorporated. Along with me once again is my friend and partner and the president of New Patients Incorporated, Mark Dilatush. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to our podcast. Mark is on the other end of the line here, aren't you, Mark?
Hey, Howie, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm real good.
I'm building an ark.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the sun for 6 days.
I feel for you. It's what I felt like when I lived in Seattle for 30 years.
I know it's March and April on the East Coast. What can you do?
It's gloom.
I know.
Listen, we were talking earlier, and you said that you built a marketing plan, and it's something that came up just today, and you thought it'd be interesting to share this with our audience. Why don't we talk about that?
Okay. It actually should apply to everyone, even though it's certainly an interesting and unique marketing plan. So let me give you the background. I've got a dentist who purchased a family practice. The original owner wants to kind of go out on his own and do more or focus the practice on, I forget which it was. It was either 6-month smiles or sleep apnea. And the rest of the bread and butter general practice is a really nice family practice in an average U.S. market in, a suburb of a city we are all familiar with.
I think I know who you're talking about and which city it is, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was trying to be secretive. I'm not very good at it. So, but this dentist also just purchased, or actually started, 2009, 8 years ago, started a practice about 5.5, 6 miles away. And that one has evolved into a really nice multi-specialty practice with, it's got GPs in it, but it also has periodontists, oral surgeons, and they need a little more room. So they're going to build a new building, hoping to break ground perhaps this summer and complete in the spring of 2018. And I thought, yeah. And they're planning on having, over 25 operatories in this place. So this marketing plan was actually for both of these offices. It was pretty clear what we were going to do with the general practice. It's, I'm not going to call it a cookie cutter marketing plan, but I'm going to call it, let's start out with the foundation. Let's make sure the internet, your offline and online, are married, they're budgeted properly, and make sure that we're delivering messages to the right people, whether we're doing it online or offline. That's pretty standard, for someone who doesn't have an orchestrated, organized marketing plan. That's pretty much what we do for everybody who inquires. I mean,
yeah, we can call it a template. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
customizable template.
It doesn't make any sense to get fancy when building the foundation has worked really, really, really well for 27 years. You don't want to get too fancy and move off of, what works.
We hate to change something that's working.
Yes. Changing something that's working makes zero sense. So, this other office, though, is one about 5 or 6 miles away, is certainly with their growth plans, is very intriguing because we have a general practice. We have 3 specialists there now, soon to be 5. And they have this enormous transition going to happen this time next spring, where they're basically going to triple the capacity of the office in 1 week. 1 week,
Wow.
the old office is, moving over to the new office, and, they're going to triple capacity. So not to mention the logistics of pulling something like that off. Let's put marketing on the side. You have to manage a facility that large and a team that large and equipment that large and whatever, and rooms. And I mean, there's just a billion things that you have to manage. So kudos to them. They already have a very successful practice. They just want to make it more successful.
They're going to the next level.
They're going to the next level, right? Which brings me to the marketing plan for this other office, which was really, it's almost multi-tiered. It's also deployment timing is multi-tiered. It's very odd that we get one of these where we sit back and, put our take a 5-hour energy and get all of our brain cells moving in the same direction and really build something that is multifaceted, multi-tiered. And so from that level, it was interesting. So between now and when their capacity increases, their focus is on big cases, whether it's implant cases or cosmetic denture cases or Invisalign cases or what have you. Their focus is on more of the big case dentistry, because they have plenty of bread and butter dentistry to keep the GPs in the office busy. But the specialty side does need a little more boost. So, and their current internet strategy is terrible to missing. Sometimes terrible is worse than missing.
Yeah.
But so we're, obviously we're going to rebuild that. And that's going to take, so one aspect of this podcast would be, if you're planning a transition like this, or like almost any transition, even if you're a dentist who's looking to open a new practice, building a website, getting it coded properly, getting the initial SEO setup done. I mean, you're looking at 60, 75 days. In most US markets, you can competitively position for not the majority of the search terms, but a third to a half of the search terms, the most popular search terms used by the local dental consumers in probably 90 days, 60 to 120 days, somewhere in there. So you're 7 or 8 months out. So even before they open this new mega office, getting their internet set up rock solid, driving patients in, becomes a priority.
Then don't we have a mail campaign going for them too?
Well, yeah, the offline side is actually the magazine. It's actually,
yes.
Yeah, it's actually, because what they have there is a beautiful list of specialties that work really well with 7 inside pages of a magazine, because then you can just list out 7 reasons to choose me. Okay.
Yeah.
And they all happen to be, those specialties. So,
Wow.
And it's a fee for service office, right? So, they need the targeting. This is not a carpet bomb. Certainly they wouldn't want a carpet bomb anyway, because you'd be wasting half of your money. So,
they have a very specialized audience here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll probably hit the top 20% of that market. I'd love to be able to do top 40 if I can talk them into it before they expand, but at least the top 20.
Yeah.
And that will keep the specialists nice and busy until the new office opens. And then I told them, because they're going to add an ortho and a pedo component. And I told them that, the summer months, this is another aspect of this marketing plan that's different. Adding specialties definitely changes your marketing plan, definitely changes your deployment. and your deployment timing definitely changes the budget. So it changes everything. So they're going to add an ortho and maybe a pedo component when they have this new place, when they have all this new space, and which totally makes sense. So at that point, you and I both know we've always promoted pedo in the months that the kiddies are home from school, or the weeks in the case of spring break and fall break when the kiddies are home. So you have this incredibly robust offline promotion going on simultaneous with online promotion during the summer months, mostly. I mean, there's some in December and some in the spring during spring break, but most of it's done in the summertime. You have simultaneous with that, you have going after the top 40 with Trifolds and going after the top 20 with magazines with a coordinated multi-niched Facebook advertising campaign, all being driven to specific landing pages with convenient online scheduling buttons on every page. Okay.
Wow.
So this is
like being an orchestra conductor. There's
exactly. Right. So
you know what? I think right there. Let's stop and take a little commercial break, because I want to come back to this, and let's explore a little more about the whole orchestra pit idea here, and how we're going to deal with this unusual situation. But I think it's a situation that a lot of dentists would love to be in.
Well, I think that's the direction of dentist. That's where the direction of dentistry is going.
Exactly.
Right.
All right. We'll be right back. We hope you're enjoying our podcast. Let me ask you, do you have a roadmap for your marketing? Why not let New Patients Incorporated do it for you? Our marketing plans have been proven effective for over 27 years for hundreds of practices across lots of different countries. We will give you the marketing data for your area, a marketing budget. We'll show you how to allocate your budget, and then we will show you the proper deployment strategies for each medium. Click on the header where it says Complimentary Marketing Plan when you go to www.newpatientsincorporated. Okay, we're back. Let's keep going on this. This is very interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, this conversation with the dentist, there's two owners. So I told him, I said, look, unless you've been graced by having the most understanding partners in the history of dentistry, I'm sure you have to go back to them and determine what your budget needs to be. Because honestly, that's what I need. I need a budget.
Mm-hmm.
In all these years, we've never had a dentist walk up to us and say, here's my credit card. It's open. It's unlimited. You guys spend what you want. Never happened, right? And it never will happen. So what we want is, the doctors, the partners, to get together, put their heads together, come up with a number, a budget that we can stay under. That's our job. Our job is to stay under budget.
Yeah, we get them to we have to start with a number first, and then we have free reign. A lot of clients will just say, do whatever you want within this budget.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So this right now, it's not anywhere near our biggest office, but they aspire to get to where we've seen offices go in the past. And so imagine, let's just imagine it is, let's say next May. No. Next June 20th, 2018. The new office is open. It's been open for about a month or so. And, all the guerrilla marketing is done. I'm sure they've had their open house and they had their clowns and maybe a rib cook-off in the parking lot or what have you. And the marketing, so leading up to this grand opening is a brand new internet strategy that is by now it's fully optimized. Probably going to see their internet properties at least twice on the first page of a Google search, probably more. If we can do it, if we can pull it off, they'll be the review champion in their market by that time. They will have online scheduling in this office. They will have probably 25 to 30,000 magazines on the street, 20,000 trifolds hitting the street, 6 or 7 different niche Facebook campaign ads hitting Facebook users. And as soon as school ends in June, 20 to 30,000 postcards hitting probably about every 2.5 to 3 weeks to a very specifically targeted audience of households with the presence of children with certain income and credit worthiness ranges. All of this is all going to happen simultaneously.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Yeah, piece of cake. And and the Facebook ads will all have their own individual landing pages where, and maybe people can take this on its own and find it useful. If you do Google PPC ads or you do Facebook ads, and I'm sure you have seen or heard in dental forums people talk about gaining leads from the internet. Landing pages, yeah, you can capture data. You can capture first name, last name, email address if you want. That's a lead, okay? But honestly, what you really want is you want the patient to make an appointment. So what they need is a phone number, which should be obvious, and a convenient online scheduling button that is integrated real time with your practice management software. So if you want to jack your landing pages up and get more out of your online advertising expense, that is certainly one way to do it. I joke all the time, and these are, friendly jokes, because I have competitors who are friendly, with us. It's no big deal. Plenty of dentists out there, right? And they say, yeah, I generated, 120 leads for this dentist. And I said, it's awesome. Who's following up with them all? And the answer is nobody. Okay. So the answer is always nobody, because dentists don't want leads. They want patients. Right. So if you're going to convert, if you're going to take the time to do online advertising, whether it's Google PPC or Facebook PPI, pay per impression, which if anybody's listening to me, you know which way I'm leaning. If you're going to go try something, go try it on Facebook. And if you want to, if you're a customer, we manage those campaigns. So just call your campaign manager or your advisor, and we can get Devaney in touch with you, and she can start your campaign for you. But make sure that if you're going to put that money at risk, that you have the absolute best chance of not generating a lead, but generating an appointment. Okay.
Right. I mean, it only makes sense. I mean, if your web presence is doing its job, at some point the person that's staring at the screen is going to want to make an appointment. Mm-hmm. Okay? So let's make it as easy as possible, like just giving them a button that's right on the same page they're looking at.
Exactly.
Bingo. Bypass the whole lead thing and go right to an appointment.
Right. Yeah, because the lead thing gets old really fast.
Yeah, because you have to mine.
I got 1,000 leads. Yeah, that's good. That's awesome.
But I've got nobody to contact.
Exactly. So, anyway, so this is going to be a really big deal, and I'm not so much from a business standpoint, but from now. Can you imagine being one of our campaign managers? We have 2 folks back at the home office. I give them a shout out. Their names are Megan and Wendy, and that's what they primarily do. Is they sit there and make sure that all these spinning plates have sticks on the end of them, and somebody's holding on to all those sticks, because in between all those projects are designers, print facilities, letter shops. I mean, there's just so many details and so many different people, and mail lists, and chopping the mail lists up by drop. And oh my goodness, there's just so many details in them. In a marketing plan, just even a regular marketing plan, not just this one.
Yeah, this is like 10X,
Yeah. These are the people behind the scenes who you probably if you're listening to this and you're not one of our customers, probably wouldn't. You probably think me and Howie do this from a tree fort somewhere, and everything happens on its own. But that's not the way it works. Yeah.
The good old days.
No, the good old days. Yeah.
The tree fort.
I love my tree fort. So.
Or bass boat.
Yeah. Right. So, anyway, I guess the bottom line is there is a way to promote your whole practice. There is a way to promote your niches. There is a way to do both simultaneously. There is a way to lift off a specialty practice on its own. There's a way to simply manage the marketing and the new patient flow for just a general practice that's whatever, doing $800,000 a year. There's a way to do all of it. All of it requires thought. All of it requires planning. All of it requires you to know what works and what doesn't work and all that stuff. But there is a way to do it all, and it can all be done within a budget, and within a budget that the owner of the practice sets, not your marketing company. And I just thought this was just a really interesting, and I would even go as far as say challenging. Right? Yeah. There's going to be, we got lots of moving pieces. And I guarantee you that if they break ground this summer and they say, yeah, we're going to be open next spring in April, that they're not going to be open in April. And all of our schedules are going to get blown out.
They'll have to be adjustable. That's
exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. Right. So, and all those contingencies have to be put in place. None of this is impossible. It's all absolutely possible. I find it interesting that this is actually a trend. I'm seeing a trend, and I'm not going to say it's hundreds of offices, but I'm seeing a hell of a lot more owner dentists now who are talking to me about, okay, I've got 8 ops now. I want to go to 20, and I want to add this specialist, and this specialist, because eventually I want to be the dental practice that does everything, which basically is the only, which is the main reason why someone would call me, because they don't even have to think about stuff we don't do, because we do everything.
Right, all under one roof.
All under one roof, right? Which is very popular, right, with the dental consumer. And I'm just having more and more of these conversations.
Yeah.
These aren't consolidators either. This isn't corporate dentistry. These are wet fingered dentists that are looking out into the future and building out, where they believe the market's going. And these are not insurance mills.
No.
This guy's fee for service in both of these offices. Right.
Yep.
So, anyway, I just wanted to, I shared that with Howie before the podcast today, and I thought it was real interesting. And if it's a trend I keep seeing, then this is going to get more and more and more interesting as we go.
Yep, absolutely. Wow, that was cool. What I like to do at some point is revisit this as this particular practice gets going, and maybe we can drop in on them every now and then, and
sure,
and share that with our audience. I think that'd be really interesting. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and we will be back with you again before you know it. Goodbye. We hope you've enjoyed our podcast today. You can find more podcasts on our YouTube channel, on Stitcher, and iTunes. Also on our websites, dentalwebcontent.com and newpatientsinc.com.